The struggle for suffrage was one of the most important movements of the Progressive era. The women's suffrage movement was the fight for Congress to pass a constitutional amendment to enfranchise all adult women for the first time in American history. The fight consisted of parades, protests, conventions, and educators traveling nationwide to educate people on the cause. This picture was taken on the streets of New York City and represents the spirit of women's suffrage movement. Suffrage was a very controversial topic in the United States. Feminists worried the movement was too extreme and they wouldn't be taken seriously. Supporters of the suffrage movement were feminists, temperance workers, social reformers, and more. All these people were supporters for different reasons, however. The feminists were fighting for women's rights and for all women to be politically equal to men. Reformers wanted to expand the right to vote, but not too much. Other people believed women would clean up politics and get rid of ethnic political machines threatening reformers. Unfortunately, many men did not support suffrage because the movement's connection to prohibition. Women supporting prohibition gave them experience and confidence to lead their own movement. This image was taken in Hillsborough, Ohio, where the Women's Christian Temperance Union was formed in 1873. The suffrage movement began in 1848 when the first Women's Rights Convention was held in Seneca Falls, New York, where 68 women signed the resolution calling for women's suffrage. Suffrage was the foremost goal of the convention, but other pressing topics were also brought up, like married women's property rights, equal pay, liberalized divorce laws, dress form, and education. The founders of this convention were Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony. This picture is of the two women who were close friends and colleagues in New York, where they grew up. After the first convention, many supporters had doubts that enfranchisement was too extreme or radical. However, the movement did attract abolitionist Frederick Douglass's support and empathy. He convinced Elizabeth Cady to go through with the suffrage resolution. The second convention was held in Rochester, New York, and was much more advertised, creating a much greater turnout. The second convention also attracted lots of national press, who made fun of them and condemned the organization as unnatural. Stanton was upset about the negative publicity, but it spread her cause faster and farther than she could have ever done by herself. She said, "It will start women thinking, and men too, and when men and women think about a new question, the first step in progress is taken." Because of the press, men and women started discussing ideas and publishing articles about women's suffrage. Overall, the women's suffrage movement was a success. Congress passed the 19th Amendment on August 26, 1920, marking the end of a 72-year struggle. Women's suffrage supporters were successful because they enfranchised half of the U.S. population. The suffrage movement was progressive because it represented social and political reform in America, and it started new ideas in American people to inspire change, like the new woman. Suffrage was one of many big steps towards equality for all people.